Hello and welcome everybody, I am Brandon, and we got a buttload of Assassin's Creed news to talk about today. So Jason Schreier over at Bloomberg broke some Assassin's Creed news about a little spin-off game called Assassin's Creed Rift that is going to be coming out before the rumored Assassin's Creed Infinity. That's like a multiverse live service sort of game. We're going to go through Infinity and Rift on this episode of Game Corner. Thanks for joining me, everybody. If you like what I do, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and I'll stop wasting your time. So yeah, like I said, Jason Schreier over at Bloomberg broke this story about Assassin's Creed Rift. It's supposed to be this little side spin-off game that's kind of going to be padding out the time between Assassin's Creed Valhalla coming out and the rumored Assassin's Creed Infinity coming out, which is like a live service sort of game. We've been hearing rumors about Assassin's Creed Infinity for quite a while now, but all these rumors about Assassin's Creed Rift really just started cropping up the other day, and Eurogamer was even able to step in and say that they've also heard these rumors kind of floating around. This is pretty on par for the Assassin's Creed franchise. Literally every single game has leaked like since the beginning of Assassin's Creed. Anyway, moving on, they're supposedly calling this game Assassin's Creed Rift. It was originally being developed as like a DLC for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but I guess they had enough going on there to kind of break it off into its own thing. And like I said, it's supposed to kind of fill that space in between Assassin's Creed Valhalla having come out and then this rumored Assassin's Creed Infinity coming out in the next couple years. Sounds like it's going to be starring Basim or Basim from Valhalla. I actually haven't played through that game all the way, so I'm not quite sure who this is, but I know that he's kind of popular among people who have played that game. And it sounds like the game is going to kind of be a smaller scoped, more stealth-based video game that honestly sort of sounds like a callback to old school Assassin's Creed. I know that there's a lot of people out there like me who kind of like that old school feel, and I wonder if they're kind of taking that into consideration and giving you kind of that smaller, more contained experience that's more focused on the Assassin's part of things and less focused on the RPG mechanics. I personally love this idea. I've always sort of thought since Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, these games have kind of gotten way too big for their britches, if you will. I know that there's a dedicated fan base out there who just loves the ridiculous amount of content that these games have and want to kind of just go across the map and check off marker after marker. That being said, I'm way tired of this formula. It's just something I never really got into in the first place, and I personally really liked Assassin's Creed 1 through 4 and even Brotherhood. In fact, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is the definitive Assassin's Creed experience in my book. I absolutely love exploring the open sea and kind of getting to go island to island. It reminds me a lot of something like Wind Waker. And it's just big enough to kind of give you plenty to do and kind of a nice open world to see, but not big enough that it's really like overwhelming necessarily. And the exploration factor with the whole boat mechanic always was really cool to me, and they especially evolved on that from Assassin's Creed 3 where it kind of sucked, honestly. Anyway, I digress. I'm pretty excited about that sort of idea, especially just because I'm really sick of kind of what Ubisoft is making right now as far as games go. And that sort of leads me into Assassin's Creed Infinity. This game actually leaked last year, and I just haven't really had time to come around and talk about it yet, so I figure we'll cover it here. This game is still supposedly a year or two off, so once again, they're kind of adding Assassin's Creed Rift as a sort of padding, if you will. And the big difference about this game is it's going to be a live service game. It's supposed to connect a bunch of different Assassin's Creed worlds into like one big game, which kind of makes sense since, you know, you use the Animus to go and explore these old time periods. Definitely sounds like they're going for sort of like a multiverse Fortnite sort of situation, which of course is really popular right now. And I'm definitely curious to see kind of how far they go into that, if they're going for like a full-blown Assassin's Creed metaverse sort of thing now. I'm actually going to play sort of similar to something like Monster Hunter or even Fortnite, where you can maybe hop into a game or play with friends in the open world, and I imagine there'll be quests and stuff to do on your own. At the time when Bloomberg originally talked about this, it was still a couple years off, so we could assume that it maybe is going to come out next year or the year after that. And like I mentioned, it sounds like they're going to have a bunch of different worlds to explore. They even mentioned that even if like the style is different in between them, they're all going to kind of tie into the same game. Not really sure how that's going to all work out, but I do think it makes a lot of sense for the franchise, and especially with just kind of how popular these games are and how people want that endless content. Seems like this is a good way to provide that. And at this point, Ubisoft has really been leaning into that live service sort of thing, and pretty much all their games kind of contain something like that, so I'm not super surprised about this. And we can also assume that this thing is going to be chocked to the gills with microtransactions, so watch out for that. And I gotta say, even though these games leak every single time and Ubisoft goes through their same old, oh, we didn't mean for this to leak, it's not good for the development cycle, blah blah blah, this has got to be great for their marketing. Every single source I checked for this story literally had the Cassandra DLC for Assassin's Creed Valhalla playing on the page. So I sort of think they know what they're doing with this, and especially since every single one leaks, I do question like if this maybe is even happening on purpose at a certain point. I don't know. I don't want to read too much into speculation, obviously. Once again, take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. But let me know what you guys think. Are you guys excited for Assassin's Creed Rift, or are you more into the Assassin's Creed Infinity sort of thing? I personally just feel like I do not have enough time for these games nowadays, and I just feel like the level of quality that Ubisoft puts into their games is just not something I'm interested in. Anyway, let me know down below. This was the Game Corner episode on all these Assassin's Creed leaks. We got Assassin's Creed Rift, Assassin's Creed Infinity, Assassin's Creed Omega. Anyway, I'm Brandon. This was Game Corner. Thanks for watching, and have a kick-ass week.